This referendum was meant to unite Australians. Instead, it appears to have created more division. There are just under 1 million Indigenous people in this country, and the healing process could take a long time.
We call on First Nations people to come together first and go through a smoking ceremony that we do to ward off evil spirits and heal people as they come into our country.
That's Fred Hooper, who chairs the Murrawarri People's Council. He was one of the so-called progressive no voters. That's Indigenous Australians who wanted this referendum to fail.
The process was flawed from the very beginning. The government should have gone to the people and they should have implemented a truth-telling commission and a treaty commission and gave the Australian people the truth about what happened in this country.
Australians were asked to decide if they wanted to change the constitution to recognise Indigenous people by creating a parliamentary advisory body called The Voice. The idea was rejected by all 6 Australian states. Paul Strangio is a professor of politics at Monash University. He thinks that many voters were left confused.
The details of The Voice would be worked out in the parliamentary process once the referendum was passed. However, the no side capitalised on the lack of detail and to sow doubt and stoke fears.
Supporters of The Voice claim that it would have benefited Indigenous people, who remain the most disadvantaged group in Australia. They suffer from lower life expectancy and higher rates of suicide and imprisonment compared to non-Indigenous Australians. Sally was one voter who backed the referendum.
We all think politicians need to do a better job of listening to the people, and this is a mechanism for that, to hopefully redress some of the systemic discrimination and disadvantage that Indigenous people have suffered in this country and unfortunately continue to suffer.
As the dust settles on a divisive debate, Indigenous people like Fred Hooper are looking to the future. He thinks it's time for leaders to say sorry.
I'd call for an apology by King Charles. Come to my country and apologise on my country.